Hey guys, Toolman Tim here. Welcome back to the workshop. I've got another recording on the road episode. So I had to run out of town today, and I thought, hey, why not? Let's get on the horn and record you guys a bonus episode. Everything's all screwed up as far as the schedule goes, but that's okay. We're gonna fill you in on a whole bunch of things that have happened in the last week. I think all for the better. So, some are bittersweet, but nothing serious at all, guys. So, first off, let's tell you, we got our first dumping of snow, and it was a dumping. We got 12 inches of snow, which for our region is quite a bit. I give my new snowblower a workout, and yeah, we'll talk about some of the issues I had with my very first snowfall again this year, because there's always unforeseen circumstances. You can do the best you can to be prepared, and there's always something that does happen. So let's get right into it. First thing I want to talk about is I got a message, I think it was on MeWe, somewhere in social today. I posted a picture of all the snow we had on the ground, and somebody said, hey, right on, you got the first snow anxiety out of the way. And I thought, I thought I was the only one that had that, but apparently it's not, because as a kid, as I got older, I always remember growing up on the East Coast, when they were calling for that very first snow, there was always like this air of borderline panic. Always. Just this kind of sitting around thinking, oh boy, you go to the grocery store and everybody just looks off. Everybody's like, oh, it's like we all lose our collective minds and forget how to drive in the snow for 7 months of the year, and then we get 5 months of the year of winter. So yeah, anyway, and I figured, for me, the first snowfall of the year is always a huge cause of anxiety. Now, we've got 28 or 29 properties this year we're doing, but we picked up some really, really big contracts that I didn't see coming for up until 2 or 3 days ago, which, anyway, that's neither here nor there at this moment. So yeah, about the day to 2 days before when they start forecasting a big dumping, especially if you don't want to be around me, 24 hours before when they're calling for a really big dumping, especially if it's the first snowfall of the year. And that's typically what happens here because the weather's warmer, we get more precipitation. So yeah, I just know it's me. Becky knows that's me. Give it a couple of days and I'm fine as kind. Not 100% today, but I bet you I'm 95%. So that helps quite a bit. Now, to throw things on top of that, I ended up, like I said, picking up some significant new customers that I had no idea were coming, to the point where it damn near doubled my winter income. Now, it came close to doubling my workload as well, but the big problem is there was no way that I was about to leave these new customers, leave the responsibility of that to my wife and my son, who fill in and do a lot of the work for me while I'm gone. Now, if it was mid through the winter, maybe, but with these new customers, and one of them looks like it's going to be a big year-round contract for us. So all of that was a big deal. But I could not reconcile these new customers with the fact that I needed to drive to Dallas and go down to Jack's TSP workshop. I even looked at flying, but even with flying, by the time you figure I'm a day's drive from Calgary Airport, well, it's 5 hours, so you might as well call it. So you lose a day there, and your flights typically leave in the morning, so you got to go down the night before, spend the night, then you fly, so you lose a day for travel that way, and then coming back the other way. So that's 4 days of travel. And people ask why I like to drive. Well, because I could drive to Dallas in 3 days, so it would have been 6 days travel, or I can fly, and it basically takes me 4 days. And I definitely enjoy driving better. So anyway, I had to make the bittersweet, kind of sad choice to back out of the workshop. I was able to offload my ticket to somebody else, so that helped. Jack didn't miss out on another person coming. I just felt like I let some people down. But of course, Jack was very understanding, and so were people in the community. And I just want to say thank you guys, because honestly, I really struggled over that decision. I didn't want to have to make it, but I'm glad I did, because I wanted to be here for these new contracts as they started and make sure they got off on the right foot and make the right connections. So Sometimes there's never a good decision. There's just a right and a wrong, or a better and a best. And even when you make the decision that gives you peace, it still sucks sometimes. So enough with that. Just wanted to get that out of the way. Now, we got a dumping, 12 inches of snow. And of course, a couple of years ago, I did the video, my terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. And you guys have heard about that, I'm sure. And it was the day from hell in my business. So I always expect things to, fall apart. I had a few minor glitches, but overall I felt pretty good about where we stood after this first snowfall. I'll tell you a few of them if I can remember them all, but first one, and I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I am 100% convinced that I remembered to top up my windshield washer or replace my windshield washer fluid with winter stuff. It's blue, it has the smell. Anyway, as soon as I just said that out loud, I think maybe I put the blue stuff in. Anyway, doesn't matter, guys. So maybe I didn't. Either way, got up this morning, windshield washer reservoir, at least the nozzles were frozen. So I've got it thawed out. I'm going to replace what's in there. So, do as I always say, preventative maintenance. And I was sure I had replaced it before I went to North Carolina. But I'm wondering now if I didn't. Anyway, so that was one. Broke a couple of shear pins on my brand new snowblower. That's expected. I keep shear pins on hand all the time. And the new chute on my new smaller snowblower wiggled free and broke a couple of tabs off after 2 days of snow blowing. So I'm going to repair that. It would probably be under warranty if I really wanted to, take it back. But Canadian Tire's a pain in the ass. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But I did. I went and bought a better, bigger metal one. I was already thinking about it right from day one. So now I have 2 snow blowers. So me and my son can kind of double up our work. It'll be great. I'm really excited about that, especially for the big schools that we do, because that is a mess. So yeah, now next I got my winter tires put on, brand new beautiful Goodyear Wranglers. They're all weather tires, so an all season is just kind of decent for anything, but an all weather is good for basically everything. Big, knobby, heavy tires, and they're great. I had them booked. I booked a couple of weeks ago for this Tuesday. They said, bring them in at 2. We'll have them done for you. I call them at 5. They're like, they're not going to be done till 7 or 7:30. I thought, Anyway, and that was the night of the storm. It just so happened that the storm came when I'd had my appointment for my tires to get put on. Anyway, they're on. Great, no problem. And if it's not common at a lot of places, up here at least, whenever you get your tires changed, the place tells you need to come back for a retorque, which basically means you go in and they just put the torque wrench on and make sure your tires are up to snuff and everything's tightened down. Because I think it's 1 in 10,000 tires, the difference in the steel and the aluminum or something along those lines, 1 in 10,000 will back off and you'll end up having a bad day. It actually happened to Becky and I on a vehicle we had. I want to say it was a Grand Caravan. I can't remember. But I was too friggin' stupid to pay attention to the vibration in the wheel and ended up rounding off the bolt and nut into the rim and ruined the rim. So I'm an idiot. I was an idiot. I learned more. So today, anyway, I'd only had 20 kilometers on the retorque. I needed about 50. I thought, well, I got a 75 kilometer trip. When I get to the next town, I'll get it retorqued. Just get out of town. And I got all kinds of vibration in the tire. I think, what in the hell is going on? And it gets worse as you speed up. So I pull over and I think, yep. I look and my rims are absolutely packed with snow. Just packed. Okay. So I do my best to beat all the snow off on the side of the road. Keep driving for about 5 minutes. Still vibration isn't as bad, so I think I probably know what the problem is. But to be safe, because I always say, always fix a loose screw. And sometimes I ignore my own advice because that little angel on my shoulder and the devil on the other shoulder says, Tim, you want to get home a decent time. Don't turn around. So I turned around and went back, got the tires retorqued. They were all good. But it turns out it was the snow because I've been on the road for a couple hours now. It's melted and the vibration has gone completely away. So that helps. Let's see. Beyond that, oh yeah, here's another one this morning, guys. And this is the kind of shit that when you wake up and it's minus 17 Celsius and everything was warm a couple of days ago, this is the kind of shit that happens. So I put my utility trailer down, felt like it latched in place. About 1/10 of me said something felt a little funny, and I thought, well, it's ice. It all latched really nice. Put the safety pin through it, safety chains on. First time my son and I come to a stop at a stop sign this morning at 6 o'clock, I hear thump. I said, wonder what that is. But you know what I did? I got out and looked because I was pretty sure it was the trailer. And yes, it was. So we got out, lifted it back on. There must have been some snow or ice buildup in there that just kept it from seating properly, even though it felt like it cinched down. Never hurts to double check, guys. I share my stupid ass things that I do so that maybe somebody out there won't do what I do. So that was a fun one. Something else, when it's snowing like a bugger and you're running your snowblower, try your damnedest to not blow your snow into your utility trailer, because by the end of the day, even if you're not paying attention, by the end of the day, you end up parking your snowblower in your trailer on top of a drift of snow. Never a good thing. So just a few little glitches, nothing serious. My son has been a huge help. I sent him out with a shovel yesterday because the snow was too thick for a backpack blower. But it was good. So we got the first big snowstorm out of the way. I'm driving on hard-packed ice right now at 110 kilometers an hour. I got it in four-wheel drive. Yeah, you can say what you want, but that's pretty common here in the wintertime. But I'm glad to have them, and yeah, she drifts a little bit. We'll slow down a little, guys. So from there, I've been listening to, I wanted to share this with you as well, been listening to a lot of Art Bell recently, Coast to Coast, and because I didn't grow up listening to him, and I've gotten turned on to him over the years, and you guys know I'm a big fan of AM radio, and I also believe by listening to people you appreciate and want to emulate, you start to subconsciously maybe learn things from them, and also consciously. So subconsciously is one thing, but if you pay attention to their cadence and the way, I really like the way Art runs a call-in show. Love it. And Ghost to Ghost is the one he did every year in Halloween, and I found a bunch of MP3s on like the Internet Archive and different things. So I've been going back listening to them, and they are a time machine, guys. You know, talking about, tune in to see the still image on our website. I was like, not CompuServe, but something like that. It was 1993 or 1994. He said, we take a still image from our webcam every day so you can see what I look like while I'm doing the radio. I thought, wow, if that's not the earliest days of live streaming, I don't know what is. And Art was a pioneer. He did the show from home. You could tell he had a studio in his basement or in his house, because on occasion, he would say he heard his wife say something to him through the wall. So, he was really one of the earliest internet live streamers. I'm kind of stretching it, but I really appreciate the dude. I like how... So here's the thing. I've always said that Art treats everybody with honesty and respect and lets them tell their story, but he would call bullshit when he smelled bullshit. And I was out in the snow the other day. I couldn't get my gloves off to change the episode that come on, and it was an old call-in show that happened after Ruby Ridge, after Waco, and it was about the Montana Freeman. And if anybody out there remembers or knows about that, send me some information, because it sounds like it had the potential to be another Ruby Ridge or Waco, but it turned out not to be. And of course, it was the news story of the day, so everybody was coming on. And there was one guy that came on that struck Art as an absolute crackpot. And he called him out on it. Pretty rare that Art did, because it seemed to me like he always treated a person's opinion as sacred. And they were allowed to have an opinion because each person has one. But on the rare occasion that an opinion was like an asshole, it seems like Art would call it out. And it was pretty cool. He would carry the conversation with the guy and say, listen, this is not right, you're wrong. And the guy tried to come back, and it was fun. It was a really, really neat exchange. I appreciated it quite a bit. If you guys want links to some of this stuff, it would be, I'll share them to you. Just let me know. And of course, it kind of inspired me to think, I would love at some point, once the audience is big enough, to do a weekly call-in show. Now, here's the thing. If anybody out there knows somebody that's doing a live stream internet radio call-in show successfully, I would like to know two things. I think you have to have a really big audience, and anybody that I know that has tried it, it hasn't lasted because there's never people that want to call in. And maybe those days are gone. Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe we need to have, audio emailed to people or something. I'm not sure. But I would love the excitement of live questions to be able to answer, or live stories. Maybe we'll do if you guys can come up with a good name for it, a Ghost to Ghost episode next Halloween where everybody calls in and shares their absolutely true, scariest ghost story they know. We'll have to come up with a name for it because obviously I'm not going to copy Ghost to Ghost. But somebody out there will come up with a good name. Now, what else? The 23andMe challenge, I think we're going to do that in the new year for people who want to make content and do it well. We've talked about it a little bit, but it's the whole idea of, if you make 21 episodes of content of podcast, you're in the top 1% of podcasters. So that's a pretty cool thing. So I think maybe we'll turn that into a bit of a challenge. We're going to have a big giveaway coming up for February. Well, obviously I always do Groundhog Day, but this year is going to be special because Groundhog Day is going to be really close to the 250th episode of the Workshop podcast. So we're going to make it a double celebration, give away some big shit. What else is new? We also, actually today I should be getting patch number 3, so they will be going out Monday. Kind of got to come up with a solution because I think Canada Post has been really messing with my deliveries, guys. So I think I've got somebody lined up that I can send them all to, pre-addressed, pre-stamped, and then have them just throw them in the mail for me south of the border. I think it's going to create way less of a headache. Quick tip, guys. Do not forget your sunglasses on a snowy day. You'll be half snowblind by the time you get home. My eyes are killing me already. Don't know what I did with them. I thought they were in the truck, but that's yet another story for yet another day. So beyond that, guys, a few thoughts. Business. I love what I do. And I love what I'm trying to build with my content creation as well. And sometimes those two things, most times they're a match made in heaven. They're a beautiful marriage. And sometimes they're a real struggle. For instance, the other night when I interviewed Ed from Iridium, which was an awesome episode, I ended up being outdoor, blowing snow, clearing snow until less than an hour before my episode. And if you guys know me, I like about a 2-hour window to prep for an interview, or not just for the interview, but 2-hour window to prep for a show to get everything put together. And I probably had about a half an hour total by the time I got down into my office. So that made it hard. Then, you would think that getting a bunch of new customers, big, well-paying, responsible customers that'll double my income would have had me excited. It kind of stressed me out, but the big thing that sucked was that I knew that I was going to have to let down people who wanted to meet up at Jack's workshop. And I knew I'd let down Jack because I had wanted to be part of that badly. But it was what I had to do. Like I said, there's times when you've got to completely focus on something, and there's other times you got to let portions of that obsession go so that you can make sure that your big moneymaker is still your big moneymaker and not forget about it, Tim. See how I'm preaching to myself here, guys? Anyway, a couple of cool things, a few other things that could be in the works. I can't promise any of this yet, but I like talking about it because it's exciting. But I've had 3 brand new opportunities that have been mentioned to go down and speak at different events in the U.S. next year. One on the East Coast, one on the West Coast, and one down in an area that's very familiar to everyone. And one would work right around the same time as Prepper Camp and Self-Reliance Festival. So we'll see. I don't know how much time I can take, but I do know that we are sliding away from most of the grass, other than maybe a really big contract or two. So that's going to help a bit. We're going almost strictly to property management for the summer, which I love. Property management's awesome, except when it isn't, but it is pretty good. I enjoy it most of the time. Now, later on, we are going to talk, maybe in a week or two, I've got an idea about the emotions of entrepreneurship. And I'm a guy that doesn't really like to talk about that kind of shit very much. But some of my entrepreneurial friends that I have, that I talk to or know on a regular basis or very close to me, I've seen them, because it's easier for me to see in other people, going through the exact same ups and downs that I went through when first starting my business. So I thought, you know what? Then if that's an issue to me, then, or to them, and it was an issue to me, then I guarantee there's other people out there that could benefit from it. So we're going to talk about that down the road. Other than that, guys, I just kind of wanted to get on and tell you that it's okay to make those decisions sometimes, especially when it is something you are building for you and for your livelihood and for your family. And I really appreciated all the comments that I got from a lot of other people out there who said, "Hey Tim, glad you did it." Now, I want to close with, I put a comment on MeWe. All my social media stuff goes just about everywhere. And Ken Struck, so his name's Ken, last name Struct. He's followed me for quite a while, always commenting on my things. So I put out the comment and a picture of my snow this morning, and I said, "Hey, welcome to the Great White North," or something along those lines. And somebody responded with, "Well, looks like a good day to go ice fishing." And Ken cracked me up, and I had to give him a shout out, because his response was, "Why in the world would you want to fish for ice?" And then he made a couple other smart ass comments that I can't remember right now, but I love stupid dad jokes like that, and for whatever reason, it just tickled me, and I really appreciated it. So Ken, thank you for giving me a laugh today, buddy. It was an awesome comment. I get a lot of good comments, but that was a good one. I'm going to tell my girls that one tonight. And finally, I did a thing the other night on our Telegram group, and it might be something we do on a regular basis, where we share the best meme that we can. And so I said, you know what? The apple doesn't far fall from the tree. And my 12-year-old daughter, Alice, has the same sense of humor I have. And she sent me a meme dump, a whole bunch of memes. And the one that was the best said, "Mrs. Frizzle takes the kids in the school bus to Chicago." And it's a picture of a school bus with about 12,000 bullet holes all through it. And Mrs. Frizzle, if I believe I've got the name right, was from the Magic School Bus. So yeah, it was funny. I appreciated it. Hopefully nobody out there is offended by it. If they are, well, I don't know. It is what it is. So anyway, guys, that's it for me. I hope you enjoy this extra recorded episode. There are a few changes this week. I've got a couple of pre-recorded episodes coming because I was planning on not being here. We'll change that up. There will be lots of live streams next week. There won't be any more this week. This one I may throw up when I get home, make it a Friday episode. But guys, as always, stay happy, stay healthy, stay warm, and have a great week.